Okay, so this is what my user will see when they open the product. They will have to click on perform mode to go to full screen. And then if we go to the first patch, which is what the user will be greeted with when they first open, we have these nice boxes that tell the user what everything does in a brief fashion. We have here just the main sounds panel, which is a little redundant, I admit, where we can skip to any sound or any decade. You can also just use the arrow keys for that, as I'm doing right now. Okay, over here we'll find information about background or history of each patch. And on each sound we have this effects section where we get effects that's tailored to the sound. So if I turn that chorus on and off, we got some other, we got a delay there. And these are different for each sound. So on FM Spiker, a good sound that is characteristic of FM. We have some reverb. Okay, so now let's go through each patch and discuss it. So we're back to our first patch, Don't Rush. Okay, this is kind of based on Tom Sawyer. So if I go, that kind of is reminiscent of that. Lucky. This is based off the famous Lucky Man Keith Emerson solo, so we can do those big glidey leaps. We can do those big glide leaps. Okay. Polysaws. This is more reminiscent of the early polyphonic synthesizers of the 70s. We've got some effects there making it interesting. Let's just take the delay down. This is the cool thing, is that the user can change these effects in real time, but they're tailored to each sound. So very quick polyphonic sound. So you could do something like, and all of this can be altered in real time. Next one, Genesis synth. This was I intended this sound to have more of an ARP kind of vibe, because that was what was used, and I wanted to give another synth representation apart from the Minimoog, and this was inspired by the synth solo in the Genesis song Fourth or Fifth. It's good because you can do like, I'm just going to take the delay off there. Good. I'm going to add some reverb, give it that solo kind of, and then you can do like complex. But it's also good for like chordy stuff, if we take it down. Good, okay. Next one, Funkalicious. This patch was actually created by accident, but if we place it within the 70s, it has a vibe of 70s funk, so that's why I put it there, especially when you play like this kind of stuff. Okay, next we have a guitar sound that was inspired by when Carlos's seminal work Switched On Back, by which I'm trying to emulate a real instrument, in this case a guitar, but with only analog synth monophonic means. If you, it doesn't sound, I mean right now it doesn't sound very realistic, but if you were to play a guitar like line, and that extra chord information that is currently making the sound, putting the chords behind the sound, is my attempt to create string resonance. Okay, Carlos flute. This one I think is more successful because of the vibrato on the end, which I sampled straight out of the microbrute. I assembled that patch essentially fully on the microbrute. So if I play something fluty, it sounds even better higher up. Okay, now we're into the 80s, and what is the first sound you think of when you are doing 80s stuff? It is the 80s DX7 FM piano. Okay, so next, 80s FM sound. Next, what do we have? Next we have FM Spiker, which is a sound that you wouldn't associate with the sounds of the 80s, but you would associate it with the wider FM palette, and I wanted to bring that into the project as well. This is good for kind of a lot of things actually, for funky lines. Or, if we take it down, you play down, could be a bass, or could be a chordal instrument. And what's interesting is, at the low end, is normal and pedestrian, but the higher up we get, it's more and more FM-like. So I think this sound was quite successful. Okay, we have a representation of a well-known sound that frequency modulation synthesis is well known for, the bell sound. Okay. Next we have a different bell sound, which is actually descended from the same samples, but has a lot more appropriate effects on it. In fact, let's take advantage of some of that stuff. There we go. Let's make that. Let's just put the delay in there a little bit. Okay. Okay, next we have hard bass, which is a typical DX7 hard bass. Okay, let's take that delay off. This is the great thing, is that okay, we can just change these in real time. They can all be different from each other, all for each sound. So let's do the bass. Okay, that's great. It can also be used in the high ranges because this was sampled quite well. So we can do interesting things up here. Okay, what do we have next? We have FM French horns. So this is not your typical FM brass sound, but it's a little bit more subdued. Okay. Next one we have is Excited Brass, which is supposed to be based on the sound from I'm So Excited, this song. But if in the lower registers it actually does approximate that. But it's quite interesting in the high ranges too, because it gets we have some FM weirdness. Which is good because it represents what FM can really do when it gets out of control. Okay. Next one is hop. I'm sure everybody knows what this is about. Let's do that again. Okay. Call Me Synth. This is another callback to a famous song, in this case, Call Me Al. I think that was on the Graceland album. So we can play that, but it's also usable in many other situations. You can use this side kind of can be used as a bass. do stuff up here. Okay, and the last sound we have is breathless bass. I'm sure people can also guess that. This sound is really only usable in the bass ranges.